Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adopters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are still a thing. And can I get a wee audio check in the chat? Sorry, I was a few seconds later. I was just a little late in finishing off my little last preparations, but there you go. We will do a couple of hellos to the people in the chat. First one up is Mr. Burger of Budget. Lord God, Father in heaven, my King and Savior. It's a really, really nice comment. And I would also thank him for the rockabilly. Stray Cats were really good. And the Jets, for that matter. But there we go. One memento, sorry. Rich is in. RPW Media. What about you, brother? Welcome aboard. End of the month, April. Would you be free? I know it's like a long, long time away. I'm going to have Robin on for the March one, and then I'm going to try to hopefully get you on for the April one. So we are actually planning ahead. Anglo-Saxon, what about you, brother? Welcome aboard. Thank you so much. And he's telling me that that's good. Let's see. Can we all agree to keep the Jewish religion and Christianity out of the national? I'll keep the Jewish religion out of everything because I don't think it's fucking important. So there you go. And as for keeping it out of nationalist politics, whenever your country is built on a religion, you probably might want to keep it involved in what you're doing, is all I'm going to say to that. But this is not going to be a political show, really. It's more a show about Lent and about where it came from and how we currently celebrate's not the word, how we currently practice Lent and or don't in most people's cases. But yeah, there'd definitely be nothing Jewish here. Oh, newsflash, to anybody that's slow or new, Christianity is not a thing. Our religion begins and ends with the Lord and Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, and the Jewish stuff from before that is a history lesson more than anything else. But anyway, welcome aboard, Sam Atkinson. Glad you made it here. Oh, and if anybody has managed to find their way in here new, hit that wee subscribe button. If you really don't like it, you can hit it again and it'll take you off the list. But if you do, there's a very slight, slim chance that you might get dragged back here next week with notification bill or whatnot. Real UK, evening chum, what about you? Welcome aboard, glad to have you here. Oh, Brad James, evening brother, welcome aboard. Sweets is in from the Waffle House. That seems to be all of our hellos at the minute. Yep, and please do that. Hit the like, folks. Yes, welcome, Sweets. Hi, Ariel. Glad to have you here. Right, we'll start off. We'll do our little bit of housekeeping. The first one, sure, I want to give a shout out to is this guy here, Rich, RPW Media. He does a live show, a long live show every Friday night, which I currently miss because I'm drunk and sleeping because I don't drink midweek. And it turns out that my capacity for drinking beer late at night has greatly reduced. So I'm getting bits and pieces of that and catch up. But you will also get uh, a good number of videos through the week from Rich. He breaks down the politics, everything that's going on in America in a really good way. He's also got a website which has a lot of very good resources in there. If you want to know what happened at the time, just go back through Rich's website and you'll find the information on it. It's really good. The other show I like to give a shout out to is, which is slightly similar, is Robin Courage is a Cure, who does a similar type of thing but from an Australian perspective. Robin is also very, very into civil liberty and stopping the government taking away all our rights and stuff, which is good. So, yeah, Rich, RPW Media, and Robin Courage is the Cure. Now, one second, I'm just checking through the chat. Arms is in. What about you? Mate, it's honestly not funny. I swear to fuck. I moved from the kitchen to the bedroom and put your show on the TV. And the next thing I knew, it was many hours later, and the television had switched itself off, and it missed your show. Spanish Chicken's in. What about you, chum? Charlie Rose is in from the Waffle House I'm about to mention. Chicken Charlie Rose. That's me. That's me down to the bottom of the things. And the other show that I like to give a shout out to, the one, the only, Dave Waffle House. Dave goes live every weeknight. The intro starts at 8 o'clock. The actual show starts at 8:30. So if you want half an hour of Monday Club Records, you tune in at 8. If you just want the show, tune in at 8:30. And then you will hear lots of stuff about stock taking, beaver, and ducks. If that sounds mad, that's because it is. Now, like all madness, it's good for it's good and fun and friendly for those that understand the system. If you hang about the place for a while, you will get the hang of it. You will eventually get some free ducks, and you may even win the duck race, the world famous Friday night duck race, which was won last night by Freezy Peach. I can't remember what she got on the Wheel of Doom, and I'm not going to look it up because I think that should be enough to make us all want to go to Dave Waffle's house any weeknight and yes, have a look at that madness and see if you can figure out what it is. The duck race is excellent. I really love it. It's a very typically English thing to do because it's like, yeah, we all meet here every Friday night, but we don't really do anything. So, yeah, let's find something that we can all do. It's not fixed at all. It's totally fair. Somebody wins a prize and we all have a good laugh about it. It's fucking brilliant. I love it. And I also think it's very important in the culture war that we have places that we can go and enjoy ourselves without it necessarily being politics. Because as much as a political being as I am, even I get fucking overloaded with politics 7 days a week, 24/7. So we need to have our things that we can do and enjoy without. Dave doesn't really have rock star hair. He's got an actual rock star and wears that as a wig. That's fucking class. Oh, 1 second. I did say who sweet. Blackjack guitar. Welcome. Actually, if you're going to hang about for a while, the next time I put a bit of music on, I'd get on the thing and get Blackjack guitar a spanner because he is quite a good guy. Actually, can I do this on the quick? Let's see. If I open that, turn that noise off, close that. No, that's the one that I want there. Blackjack guitar. Standard moderator. Right. Blackjack, that should be you with a spanner. If there's links that you think need put in, go ahead and throw them in. There's very little actual moderating needs done on this stream. We don't get a load of idiots in, so you probably won't have much work to do that way. But it's for putting in links and stuff. Is RPI in? Is RPOW in? I've seen his name, but I haven't seen RPI. Oh, you're welcome, mate. How far back did RPI say something? RPI say something. Can't see it. No RPI. Yeah. I've been seeing things. I thought I saw someone saying hello to him in the chat. I was going to mention him because RPI has graciously agreed to be on the end of the month show next week, so you'll be seeing him then. And there's Captain Packer. Not a problem, mate. Very welcome to do so, and it also does put another view on the list, so that's all good. All Anglo is he's a good lad. He's solid. He's a solid lad. I do like him. Nah. Where the fuck am I? I think. Right, that's all hellos done. I think before we get into the actual stuff, the content, as it were, I think we will have. I think we'll have a little musical interlude, and we will have not particular realm. We'll have a marching song of the New Model Army. Yep, that sounds about right. Share screen, and I will actually get myself caught up with myself during this. StreamYard. At this stage, yes, a little bit of a musical interlude. Here we go, and I will get myself organized.
March, army of saints, marching with order where covered in battle. March, conscience of Parliament, hold your great fast in the height of the battle. Scourges of heresy, over his foemen, rough man at arms, in God's name to fight. Puritan tradesmen and level yeomen, sustain ye by fervour, by righteousness armour. March, bless ragamuffin, sing as ye go, the hymns of rejoicing. March, justified ruffians, chosen of heaven to glory your rising. Humble, implacable, strong in your faith, marching invincible into God's strength. face, red-coated prophets, you new model come, with the fire of the right to bring England to order. March, march, army of saints, onward we sound to the push of the tide now. March, march, host of the righteous, the triumph for martyrdom, so is your right now. Rustic philosophers, pantheologians, mind-questing pamphleteers, to the ranks come. City apprentice and Anglian yoke unite, with intention Gomorrah to deliver. March, march, sharp-sworded midwife of God's new millennium, born in its glory. March, march, Christ our physician, to purge and build and an end to our glory. Marching in ranks to the gospel, come on, marching for Commonwealth, God and the Land. Red-coated prophets, you new models come, with the fire of the right to bring England to order.
Right, that's the end of that. Bass, welcome, Linda Hunter. Yep, seeing Linda is in from down under. Welcome aboard. I don't consider the English Civil War to be a brother war, though, because I do not think they were brothers. I do not think they had one. I do not think they agreed on much, and I think that's why they had the war, because they weren't brothers, and they had to sort out which was going to, what way we were going to have a country, and yeah, it worked out. It worked out good. And there's Martin W's in. Right. Now, we're going to talk about Lent. Oh, hold on. Whoa. I forgot about one of my shout-outs I wanted to do. And there's the wonderful, sexy Emma G is in. Hope all went well tonight. Real, you've a really fucking weird idea about history, mate. Again, I would also say, well, I do not believe that was a brother war, because if they had agreed on stuff, they wouldn't have been fighting. For those of you who don't know, the English Civil War was the Protestants against the Catholics, and the Protestants didn't want the Catholics in charge, because every time the Catholics get in charge, they murdered the Protestants. For example, with Bloody Mary, who murdered a Protestant stake every Friday while drinking wine and eating chicken. So that's why we had the English Civil War. I don't think there was any Jews involved. Honestly, don't. Like I said earlier, you'll not get much Jewish stuff in my stream. If you're wanting anti-Jewish stuff, probably go elsewhere. I deal with history and facts. Who was fighting in Manchester? Who was fighting in Manchester? I haven't heard about this. Right. Lent. Let us begin with this. This is from the Britannica. What was once a very good encyclopedia, there's now gone to shit, but we will see what they have said. See that, and we'll see. And yeah, this really big fucking advertisement thing's bugging me, but sure we go. Lent in the Christian Church, a 40-day period of. 1 second, just check this on, and that my mic is on. We're good. Right. Lent in the Christian church, a 40-day period of pen, penitence, preparation for Easter. For many Christians, Lent is a season for fasting and abstinence in imitation of Jesus Christ fasting in the wilderness before he began his public ministry. So, this thing that we hear about Jesus Christ going into the wilderness and fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, this is what he did to prepare himself for his Christian ministry. For his public ministry, it wouldn't have been Christian at that stage. I don't think we would have had any name for it. Definitely not Jewish because it doesn't agree with any of the Jewish stuff. But it was a new thing, and I think it only became known as it became known as Christian as it gained popularity. Alms giving, the practice of giving money or food to the poor or performing other acts of charity, is also encouraged. In Western churches, Lent begins on Ash Wednesday, 6.5 weeks before Easter, and excludes Sundays. So when we used to practice Lent where we fasted, you were allowed to eat on Sundays. And again, our fasts did last from sun up to sundown. And then things got a little bit weaker and it lasted from sun up to midday, and now nobody really fasts. In Eastern churches, Lent begins on the Monday of the 7th week before Easter and ends on the Friday before Holy Week, the Passion Week, and immediately precedes Easter. This 40-day Great Lent includes Saturdays and Sundays as relaxed fast days. So, what is Encyclopedia Britannica going to tell us about the history? A period of preparation and fasting likely has been observed before the Easter festival since the since the times of the apostles. Though the practice was not formalized until the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. The CE bullshit, I will not conform. It was 325 years after the death of Christ. And that's where we started measuring time from. It was a time of preparation of candidates for baptism and a time of penance for grievous sinners who were excluded from receiving Holy Communion, because in the Roman Catholic Church they would take your right to Holy Communion and just take it the fuck off you if they felt like it for reasons, not something we practiced in the Protestant Church. And we were preparing for this restoration. As a sign of their penance, they wore sackcloth, and were sprinkled with ashes. This form of public penance began to die in the 9th century. It became customary for all faithful to be reminded of the need for penance and of their own morality by receiving Mornate Mori in the form of ashes. This is a Catholic tradition. Protestants don't do this. Either sprinkled on top of worshippers' head or marked in the shape of a cross on their foreheads on the first day of Lent, hence the name Ash Wednesday. And you will find that what Jesus said about fasting and religious observations is to do it privately, not fucking get a smudge of ice on your forehead and walk about with it all day, like going, look at me, look at me, look at me. You're supposed to do it on your own. But there you go. In the early centuries, fasting rules were strict as the... Hold on, I'm going to check the chat. Nobody really can... there was no 33 years between. BC didn't start at Christ's birth. At BC didn't end uh, with Christ's death. It ended at his death. So the other thing is, up until Jesus Christ's death, he was a man. Well, he was God, but he was also a man. And it is the process of being crucified, going down into hell, coming back out again, and sitting at the right hand of God that made Jesus Christ the Savior. And that's the ability to forgive sins. So those 33 years, they're included in the before Christ would be the short way. Yeah, flange. Yeah, fucking hate the adverts. Yeah, yeah, that's a Catholic thing. But yeah, one second, I'm just checking through. I agree. I think it is. I can't tell you. I can't tell you all the pointers are looking at. It's going to be quite a balmy year in Northern Ireland, but we shall see. In the early centuries, fasting rites were strict, as they still are in Eastern churches. One meal a day was allowed in the evening. The meat, fish, eggs, and butter were forbidden. The Eastern Church also restricts the use of wine, oil, and dairy products. In the West, these fasting rules have gradually been relaxed. The strict law of old fashioned of fasting among Roman Catholics was dispelled with during World War II, and only Ash Wednesday and Good Friday are now kept as Lenten fast days. As I was always told as a child, it's time enough to fast whenever you have no money for food. However, the emphasis on penitent practice and almsgiving remains, and many Catholics also observe meatless fast on Fridays during Lent. Well, this is where the term Athenian state comes from. When they fish, the origins of that was the Pope wanted to charge the fishermen more rent or more wanted more of a donation from them, and the fishermen said, "We're giving you all we can." They went, "Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make eating meat a sin on a Friday. People will buy more fish. You can give me more money." They just invented that out of whole cloth. This again, we are going to be getting into the difference between the different types of Christianity during this stream, because I keep hearing people saying that we're a Christian country, and I don't know how you can be a Christian, how you can be a umbrella Christian country whenever the umbrella of Christians believe different things. For example, Mormons are Christians and they get to have as many wives as they want. Rest of us only allowed to have one wife. Some people think one wife's too many. Before, is Emma G still here? uh, oh, Martin, I totally agree with that. Why is that not going up on the screen? Oh, that's why. Hi, Emma. My love, my darling. Uh, Sorry, what did you say, Martin W? Yeah. Oh, yes. I knew you were talking about England. I was just thinking that possibly things are more connected than it looks, because if you are seeing early signs of trouble and we're seeing early signs of trouble, I think possibly the instigators are possibly connected. But no, yes, I knew you were talking about England. We will see how it goes. I just hope that anybody that is going to get involved in any form of protest or whatnot does so in a safe and legal way. It will not serve our people to get a whole bunch of them arrested and have criminal records. So, yes, do make your voices heard, do protest, do counter in every legal way possible, but do not go past that because we no longer have a judicial system where that is safe. I don't know. Our current judicial system is giving convictions based on a person's political persuasion as opposed to what they did. So just be careful with the protesting this summer, please. Uh, would be what I would have to say about that. Right. Where was I? Blah, blah, blah. In addition, Catholics and other Christians often choose to give up specific pleasures, such as sweets or alcohol. Social media during Lent is a way to foster simplicity and self control. Many use their cravings or desires for those items as a reminder to pray and refocus on spiritual matters. Uh, Personally speaking, uh, what I currently do for Lent is I look at some aspect of my life that I am struggling with, and I put a lot of effort into it, and I struggle with that. As in last year, it was money management. I was not brilliant at it. I'm not saying I'm brilliant at it now, but by fucking a hell of a lot better than what I was. And I struggled with that organization last. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? No, no, no. Oh, fuck. Settings. Audio. Check one, two. Yep. Oh, fuck. Thank you. Sorry, people. Emma G had to phone me there, and yeah, sorry, that was a technical issue. I'm not sure what's causing this, but we're going to go with new cables for next week, I think. That's actually cool. I like that. What's important now for when and God, good, orderly direction. I like that. We've got a big, proper, strong one. Well, not necessarily according to me. I have said on many stages, many times, that my opinions on marriage and having a wife have changed measurably since I met the wonderful Emma G. We'll just put that out there. Not that I'm planning on getting married anytime soon, but I do want to spend the rest of my life with an Emma G because she is wonderful. Yeah. Yes. She's been a hoot. But she did see me there. She gave me a phone call. Right. How much did we miss? And was it anything important? That be the question. Nothing. She's a wonderful, wonderful energy. Right. Right. There's the basics of Lent from the Encyclopedia Britannica. And what am I going to do next? What are we on? We're on 37 minutes. I think we're going to have a musical interlude. Let's see. What will be good? Yeah. Right, we're going to have a musical interlude, and this one is dedicated to the wonderful, super sexy Emma G. Share screen. There you go. Grab your book buckets, people. Should have done this last week, time week, but it is.
Tell me that you want me, and I'll be yours completely, for better or for worse. I know we'll have our disagreements, be fighting for no reason. I wouldn't change it for the world. 'Cause I knew the first day that I met you, I was never gonna let you slip away. And I still remember feeling nervous, trying to find the words to get you here today. You make my heart feel like it's summer when the rain is pouring down. You make my whole world feel so right when it's wrong. 'Cause I know you are the one. That's why I know you are the one.
See how much G's run quiet.
Life is be scared of. With you I am prepared for what is yet to come. 'Cause our two hearts will make it easy, joining up the pieces, together making one. You make my heart feel like it's summer, when the rain is pouring down. You make my whole world feel so right when it's wrong. 'Cause I know you are the one. That's why I know you are the one. When we're together, you make me feel like my mind is free and my dreams are unreachable. You know I never ever believed in love, but believed one day that you would come along. And free me. You make my heart feel like it's summer, when the rain is pouring down. You make my whole world feel so right. But it's wrong, 'cause I know you are the one. That's why I know you are the one. That's why I know you are the one. That's how I know you are the one.
Spanish, what I will say is love only makes you weak when you love the wrong person. When you love the right person, it will make you stronger. Because if you love the right person, it's reciprocal, and you're going to get the support and help that you give, and it'll work. Love's not necessarily a weakness. The problem is loving the wrong thing or the wrong person. For example, you could love eating healthy, and that would be good. It would make you better. Or you could love McDonald's, and that would make you bad if you had make you ill if you eat it every day. So it's a case. The emotion itself isn't the problem. It's how it's deployed. Would be my opinion on that one. I will say, a shout out to Rags. I hope that whatever it is that he's getting worked on, I hope everything goes very well and he makes the best recovery that is humanly possible. Lamp. Let the air convince you. Right, now we're going to get a little bit more Lengthy stuff coming out here. And this is from Christianity. I think it's .org. Yeah. Let's see what they say. This is a little bit more in detail than our wonderful Encyclopedia Britannica. Oh, Spanish, you're preaching 100% the converted. Did 25 year in an abusive relationship where there was no actual love, and that was shit. But with the right person, it's fucking wonderful. And that's the problem is, I don't blame love for anything. I do blame myself a bit for getting involved in a very bad woman. Although I was young and dumb at the time. Yeah. No, we can agree, Spanish. It's a weird fucking thing. Yeah, but uh, slight tangent. There's nothing in itself that's harmful, and everything has a good side and a bad side to it. The question is how it's deployed, and fuck Anglo, don't you start. I've just got this settled all down, and you're starting. Not. uh, we'll see. Right, let's have a little look at Lent, and I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Right, let's see where it differs. Lent is a significant season of the year for Christians, a time for solemnity and self-reflection, where they confess their feelings and resolve to live a more godly life based on the teachings of Jesus Christ. That's where our religion starts, middles, and ends. The teachings of Jesus Christ. Anybody that tells you we are Judeo-Christian is fucking lying. It lasts for just over 6 weeks leading up to Easter. Traditionally, it was a time of fasting from certain foods such as eggs, meat, fish, and fats. Nowadays, people might give up luxury foods such as chocolate. Did the same person write this? They might also give up an activity such as using social media or drinking alcohol. It's also called Lent in English because it is a time of year when the days are lengthening and in the northern hemisphere. Like Easter, Lent falls on a different dates each year. Why does it fall on a different date each year? Because it's dictated by the phases of the moon. Christians in different church traditions around the world celebrate slightly different periods of Lent. Some church buildings are made to look more plain during Lent, with flowers and other decorations removed. In most churches, the first day of Lent is Ash Wednesday. Many Christians go to church that day to seek forgiveness from God for what they have done wrong. In some churches, one second. Well, that's only a suggestion. It's one suggestion I don't suggest you follow. Oh, I didn't say which some. Uh, because of funky purple haze. Yeah, that's only a suggestion. There's nothing in the book that tells you what to give up. It just tells you to struggle. Struggle with your faith, struggle with your life, and try to get better at it. In most churches, first day of Lent is Ash Wednesday. Many Christians. In some churches, the priest will take ash and use it to mark the cross sign on the forehead of each person because they want to show off. It is a symbol of their remorse. It's a symbol that they want to rub off. The ash is traditionally made from burning palm crosses, which were distributed on Palm Sunday the year before, which is something that Linda Hunter was talking about. They were burning the palms from the year before to put the ash on them. During Lent, many Christians use special studies to guide their times of personal prayer and reflection. And here's some pancake ingredients. The idea of fasting around the time of Easter goes back to the days of the early church 2,000 years ago. For some years after the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Christians fasted from all food and drink between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. marking the time period between his death and the discovery of the tomb was empty. Lent, as we know it, has its origins about 900 years after Jesus. Not quite sure. I have doubts. When was the Council of Nicaea that sorted out Easter? Lent, as we know it, has its origins about 900 years after. There was an international agreement that there should be a season of prayer and seeking forgiveness lasting 40 days, plus Sundays leading up to Easter Sunday. The significance of the time period was immediately before he began his years traveling and teaching. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert reflecting on the future of his life. Traditionally, the day before Lent begins is a time for feasting and celebration. All the luxury goods that won't be eaten during Lent are consumed. Given that those foods include eggs, milk, and fat, ingredients for pancake batter, it is clear why it became a tradition to make pancakes. In the UK, the day is known as Shrove Tuesday. The word shrove is derived from shrive, meaning to forgive. In many parts of the world, the day is known as Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday in French, and is marked with a carnival. So that Mardi Gras thing with all the degeneracy, they put that on top of Lent. Almost like they're trying to do away with something. The fourth Sunday during Lent is Mothering Sunday. In England in the 16th century, it was occasion to appreciate the motherly nature of the church. More recently, it has become the time to honour all mothers, which is an interesting thing because whenever I was a kid, not just my mother, would have chastised me, told me that was the wrong name. Anytime I used the term Mother's Day that made it more secular, it was always Mothering Sunday in our house. The last week of Lent is Holy Week, which commemorates the final days before Jesus' execution on the cross. It begins with Palm Sunday, which marks the day Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. It was a day of triumph when the crowds of followers and supporters waved palm branches and laid them on the ground in front of him. In many churches, Christians are given a small palm cross to remember the day. In the churches around where I live, there's somebody with a donkey comes into the church. These are the crosses that are burnt the following year to provide the ashes for Ash Wednesday. We don't have the crosses in our church because we don't burn them and we don't do the ash. Later in Holy Week, as Lent draws to an end, some Christians mark a significant days in the Christian year. Holy Wednesday, when one of Jesus' followers, Judas, agreed to betray him. Monday, Thursday, when Jesus ate his last meal with his followers and was then arrested. And Good Friday, when Jesus was put on trial and executed. Lent ends with Easter Sunday, the day the Christians celebrate Jesus rising from the dead. So there you go. There is pretty much all about Lent. And let's see, I'll take us down and we'll see where we are. Unfortunately, not loudly enough would be my answer to that. As I said in Dangerfield's stream earlier on, we have got a Christian tradition that lasts for a month at the same fucking time as Ramadan. In fact, it predates Ramadan because we were doing it first. And Ramadan is the imitation. Now, problem is, we don't do any of our stuff publicly out in the street, or not enough of it. So, and we don't observe it. We don't chastise each other about not observing it, and we don't make a thing of it. And I think before we start telling the foreign fuckers about it, yeah, I totally agree. Well, I wouldn't even fuck. I just ignore it, which is what happens. Well, the reason why it's the exact same time, well, it's not the exact same time because the lunar calendars are different, but it's the same fucking thing. It's a copy. No, Spanish chicken will need to tell each other. Unfortunately, I don't know. See on Easter Sunday, how many people's going to go out and roll eggs down a hill? Honestly, let's think about this, because how things become important is their level of public participation. So if a lot of the public are participating in something, it becomes newsworthy and important. The Muslims all do it because they've no choice in it, because everybody in the street fucking beats them out of their house into the street to do it, and they can't get away with not practicing Ramadan. We have no, we had a system where that happened here too with Lent. That is no longer the case. We need to bring that back. There's nothing that has been taken over in this country that we did not first neglect, is the sad story. And we need to change that. And it's only us that can change that. You can't get somebody to change it for you. Oh yeah, cheese rolling is a real tradition. I've done shows about that, and I do bring it up every year whenever that comes around. But it's cheese rolling is connected to the right of way of that area to be able to walk on that land and graze your animals on it. Lent is about how our whole country goes about stuff, and we really need to make more of that and make it important. So there's that. Right. Now, what else do we have lined up for talking about Lent and all of that? Right, we're going to do a musical interlude. I think we'll have the Anglo-Saxon. Nice quick one. Oh, Spanish chicken, 100%. Get more Morris dancing on. Fucking honestly, do that. Morris dancing. You know what? Like, see in every fucking housing estate where we get a bunch of people, get a Morris dancing club and go out and do it regularly in the middle of the street. And also maybe do fucking pancake races at Easter. Maybe tie ribbons to a fucking lamppost if you have to, and create your own maypole and do your own maypole dancing. Yeah, see, Spanish, we're right on that. And do you know what? And bring out the ghetto blasters and make the music for it, and have the kids doing that, and have that in 3 or 4 different places in the. And people say, why are you doing all this stuff? Who's oh fuck, Channel 13. And yep, I have do it in the middle of the state, and people say, and whenever people say, why are you doing this, go, who's putting up with this better, us or them? Make it uncomfortable. Make them have to see our traditions on a regular basis, and then they'll probably fuck off this part of the country where they don't do that regularly. Yeah, the 100% Spanish. I am 110% on board with you. And I would also say, can we all fucking get involved with England Day, please? Can everybody do something for England Day? Linda, I have talked about that ball game for every year. You just must have missed it. We are, and we need to start behaving like the people of these isles. We've sat in the sidelines for too long, and we need to change that. We really do. Linda, I have covered that ball game, and I might actually, if there's time tonight, I'll do a little bit about it. Exactly. Do you want? Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. So you've got all the kids in your street, and they're organized for a pancake race, and you get 3 Muslim kids and 2 Hindus that want to take part, and you go to their parents. Are these children changing religion? They're like, what? So the children, you want your children to take part in our religious festival? Are they going to change religion? Do they believe in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior? And they're like, no. Well, okay, sorry, you can't be part of this. And the same with the maypole. You go to the parents. The parents bring their child. Can our child be involved in this? And you go, what religion are you? You're a Muslim, yeah. You do realize that this is a pagan. Oh, trust me, Martin. Forcible deportations will come, but they're at the end of the process, not at the beginning. And we're going to have to clear areas first where we can work from. So we'll clear them out in a humane fashion. And as they start scarpering to their own little hidey holes and are pushed back into them, then we can start the deportations. You've got all the kids in the estate. You're teaching them Morris dancing, and the Hindu children and the Hindu and the Muslim children, or the Jewish children, or whatever they are. Although I doubt you've got Jews in housing estates. Want their kids to be involved in it. Yeah. Exactly that. You go, here's what it is. This is part of a pagan festival. I don't think your religion's compatible with it, and we don't want to corrupt your children. So sorry, no, they can't be involved. And we'll do stuff with their own kids, and we'll let them enjoy it. And we'll make sure they've got a English-looking fucking country to live in. Oh, digital ID's coming. There's a consultation document coming up about digital ID soon. Now, where was I? Right, sorry. That was quite the sidetrack. Here we go, the Anglo-Saxon. Hello, you're listening to 42's letter to the Anglo-Saxons. When you spread this message, you are the resistance. The Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon shook his head sharply, his hair dislodging droplets of sweat from the back of his neck, the produce of moving a carcass to the workbench. The sharpened blades and cleavers felt natural in his hand. The carcass divided to his will. The Anglo-Saxon's muscle memory was that of a warrior. His body was lost to the toil, but his mind wandered to memories that were not his own. An intruder startled the Anglo-Saxon. However, before him was not the meadows and glades of his ancestors, but a butcher's shop window. While politely serving the customer, the Anglo-Saxon mourned the loss of a kingdom he had never known, of the rituals and customs that were lost long before his grandparents were even born. Outside, the street was a bustle. He knew there were others like him, ones who carried the warrior's pride. Amongst them he would find the rightful place of an Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon.
It was not preached to the crowd, it was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud when the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. It was not suddenly bred, it will not swiftly abate. Through the chill years ahead, when the time shall count from the date that the Anglo-Saxons began to hate. When time shall count from the date the Anglo-Saxons began to hate.
Game over.
Okay, sorry if this is turning into a bit of a musical show, but I'm just having to do this. Adam Glass, welcome in, my Scottish friend. Ulster Scots lad here. So you're very welcome aboard. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. You might end up back here again, which may or may not be a good thing. But apart from anything else, I'm struggling a little bit tonight with my blocked up nose. But here we go. Apart from anything else, I just, with all the chat that's going on, it's put me in mind to play a song that I haven't heard in a very long time by Shawati Wati. It's got absolutely no political connotations to it whatsoever. It's just one of those songs, and I'm going to play this. She'll explain my thoughts on the whole thing.
Ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding ding dong, ram-a-lam, lam-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, lam-a-lam, ding, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding. Ooh, oh, I've got a girl named ram-a-lam, ding dong. She's everything to me. Ram-a-lam, ding dong. I'll never set her free, 'cause she's mine, oh mine. Oh, I've got a girl named ram-a-lam, ding dong. She's fine to me. Ram-a-lam, ding dong. You won't believe that she's mine, oh mine. I love her so, and I'll never let her go. One thing is certain, she's mine, oh mine. She's mine. All of the time, I have got a girl named ram-a-lam, ding dong. She's everything to me. Ram-a-lam, ding dong. I'll never set her free, 'cause she's mine, oh mine. Ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding ding dong, boom, boom, boom. I've got a girl named ram-a-lam, ding dong. I'll never let her go. Ram-a-lam, ding dong. I love her so, and she's mine, oh mine. Boom, boom, boom. Ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding dong.
Mr. Budgie Burger's always asking for a bit of rockabilly, and I thought that was possibly appropriate for this evening. We're about to talk about the Council of Nicaea, since that came up with the placement of Easter and all of that stuff, and Lent. But before that, we have an announcement. Where to go? Sansom is in the house, and we do indeed have a new theme tune for the last Saturday show next week. It's going to be fucking class. Going to be class. I love it. Looking forward to that. Our part, the real piece of work, will be the guest on the stream. Yeah, it was a 50s song, and then Shawati Wati done a cover version. So it's like most of that rockabilly and rock and roll stuff, that it was cover versions. The Stray Cats were the ones that did most of their own stuff. Interestingly, BCR, the Bay City Rollers, we used to call them the Belfast City Ragmen. Exactly. I don't know. I thought that was about. I honestly thought that was about some fasting ceremony. But no. There we go. Right, we're going to do a little bit about the First Council of Nicaea. And we'll do this with the Encyclopedia Britannica and all of its wisdom. So, First Council of Nicaea. I remember the Shawati Wati version, not the 50s version, which was in the 70s. Right, here we go. The First Council of Nicaea, as according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. The First Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. The first ecumenical council of the Christian Church, meeting in ancient Nicaea, now Iznik in Turkey. It was called by the Emperor Constantine I, an unbaptized Chechium, who presided over the opening session and took part in the discussion. He hoped the General Council of the Church would solve the problem created in the Eastern Church by Arianism, a heresy that first proposed by Arius of Alexander, that affirmed that Christ is not divine, but a created being. Pope Sylvester I did not attend the council, but was represented by litigants. So what this is 325 years after the death of Jesus Christ, we were having councils sit around and decide what was going to be in the Bible, what was going to be taken out of the Bible, and how the religion would work. And we had one batch of people that were saying that that Christ was not divine, but a created being, that they did not win the argument. Arius was an ecclesial moral leader of Christian community in the era of Alexandria. He attracted a large following through his message, integrating Nepomucus, which accented the absolute oneness of the divinity as a highest perfection, with the literal rationalist approach to the New Testament texts. This point of view was publicized about 323 through the poetic verse in his major works Taya, Bakwat, and was widely spread by popular songs written for laborers and travelers. So how we would teach our religion to people back in those days is we would form it into a song, into a play, into something that was memorable. This is indeed where you get the nativity play that you all probably took part in school, which tells the story of the birth of Christ. And that is how people would have learnt their religion. And the actual minutia of it would be the sole preserve of the priests, the clergy, the intelligentsia, and they would pass this down to the people. The Protestant Reformation, at its heart, a large part of it is about moving that information to the ordinary people and allowing them to read it for themselves, understand it, and make their own decisions. While the rise of Aquarianism as the impetus of the First Council of Nicaea. So what had happened was they were worried that we've got 3 or 4 different beliefs that are popping up here, there, and everywhere, and we want to bring everybody together, make a formal decision amongst ourselves, and then everybody can stick to that. This is where church as a controlling force begins to take effect. The First Council of Nicaea was largely convened to resolve the controversy over the relationship between the persons of the Trinity. The council condemned Aquarius as a heretic after he refused to sign the formula of faith stating that Christ was the same divine nature as God. Constantine then exiled Aquarius, an act that, while manifesting in a solidarity of church and state, underscored the importance of secular patronage in ecclesiastical. Are we back? Help. I'm going to need to bring Pac in. Hello. Yes, we are. Oh, holy good shit. Yep. We're back. Oh, fuck me. This is doing my head in. Yeah, Pac, I think I do. I do. I'm getting too many technical issues with this sound just cutting off. It's fucking doing my box in. Everything works while it works, but then somehow it doesn't. How much of this had I read before it went off? Needs a producer. Link. Right, hold on. Actually, yeah, I will do that. Bump. 1 second. Present or invite. Invite guest. Copy. Right, I'm sticking the link in the chat. If you are not PACA, we'll possibly Sansom. If you're not PACA or Sansom, do not be clicking the link because you won't come on. Yeah. we're sending out for help because of our technical issues. There's Rich reminding me he's here too. Fuck it, Rich. If you want to come in, come in. If you don't. It's fine. But just since I've seen you there, right. While I'm waiting on that, I'm going to recap that, and I'm going to recap that in seconds. Here, Samson, don't worry about it. I was more being polite than anything else. Since I'm inviting Pac on, sending out the link, I thought if you want to come on, you can. But no, I know how hard you're working at the moment, and honestly, don't worry about it. Rich, if you want to jump in, jump in. Would be actually interesting to get some American perspective as well. Because fuck no, this is all just gone confusing. While I'm waiting on Mr. Paca, I will. 42 is great, just needs a nudge every now and again. Rich, what about you, chum?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Well, mostly good. Apart from the technical issues, I'm good. How's yourself?
Well, I had a better day yesterday after the after my stream. I had to go take my dog to the vet. They had a 24-hour thing. I have a German Shepherd. He's 8 years old and just one of the best dogs I've ever had, and I had to put him down because he was for the last several days. He didn't want to eat. He was drinking a lot, whatnot, but became very lethargic. I at first thought that it was like, I hate to bum everybody out, but at first I thought that it was that he just had a stomach bug, and so I took him there. They did an ultrasound, and he had a tumor on his spleen. And they had said that the only way to find out if it's, malignant or benign was they had to do a surgery to remove it, because then when they remove it is the only way they can do a biopsy. And if it was malignant, we had to put them down no matter what. And they said that for cases like his, it's 70% of the time it's malignant, that it's very rare that it's not. And so then and the surgery would be 6 to 9,000. Yeah. And then they said, that if it's benign, they just remove his spleen and he could live a life. But he told me that the odds are that it's not. But then he said they could do an X-ray on his chest to see if it spread to his chest, because if it did, that was 1,100. They said if it did spread to his chest, that there's nothing you could do, it metastasized. So, and they told me you got to take him for surgery right now. There's a hospital in another county over. So they're telling me you got to take him like right now because he was in a bad way. Greatest dog I ever had. Yeah. And I said, what would you do? He said, I don't normally like to answer that. He goes, I'm telling you right now from what I see and from the blood work we did, it's not good at all. And you say goodbye. So I did. It fucking sucked. Pardon my French there. It really sucked. But,
no apologies required for that at all.
Yeah, but other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play, right? So
yeah.
Sorry for you, man. You've done the best for you, buddy.
Thanks.
I really, really feel for you, Rich. It's
it was hard.
Anybody that doesn't understand that your pet dog that you've had for 8 years, 5 years, whatever, is not part of your family, and you've got a very strong emotional bond.
Right.
Yeah, there's a problem with that person, and it's very sad. And yeah,
he was what a good boy he was. Everybody who met him liked him, and he liked everybody, and he would honest to God, he would make people smile just by being himself. It was just, he was gentle. He was protective. Oh, forget about it. He would, if anybody went near Carol, he would rip your throat out, but he was nice to everybody. That was all I had to do if he met someone new was say, he's okay. And he'd go, oh, okay. And he knew he was very intelligent, and you know what? This is going to sound dramatic, but it's true. Hand to God. That at the end, when they had the catheter in, and the doctor put in the first set of medicine, which was to calm him down,
relax him.
Yeah, and while he started feeling it, my Carol was behind him and I was in front, and he had no strength all day, but he literally lifted his head up to behind him and gave her a kiss.
Yeah.
And then he came over to give me a kiss, and he tried, but he just couldn't. And then he put his head down and he looked up at me, and dude, I lost it. I absolutely lost it.
Yeah.
And then he put the real drug in and he checked him. Heart's gone. Oh man, that was a bad night. But you got to get over it. It's going to take me a long time, but I don't want to bring anybody down anymore. What do you want to know about America?
Rich, I just want to say I really feel for you and I understand what you're going through. It's sometimes life just sucks.
Yeah, it was bad. Most German Shepherds, or at least in America, they live between 9 and 12 years.
That would be similar here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're big animals and they don't last that long. But I thought I had some years left. You know what I mean? It's just sad.
We would sort of say a 9-year-old German Shepherd's old. Anything past it's major bonuses.
Yeah.
It's just shit.
I know. But anyway, thanks guys in the chat. I love you all. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Packer, how's yourself?
I'm all good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. I was talking to somebody very like you earlier on.
Wasn't you though?
Yeah. Packer was on. Chris streamed earlier on, and I was on as a guest, so I've seen Packer earlier on this evening.
We had a nice little chat, and you're coming back, aren't you?
Yes. What I've found out is I definitely need a good non-public conversation about that stuff first, so that everything doesn't all just come out in a fucking puke. I say things that I severely regret because it was only we were talking about how Britain is and comparing and contrasting Northern Ireland with England. Yeah, I've got opinions about that need sorted out. And a lot
What's
of stuff.
the topic tonight? I had to go away because I had so many people calling me. I'm sorry.
Just basically Lent.
Oh, Lent. Okay.
Yeah, Lent, Easter, those traditions and whatnot. And I suppose my question would be, does Lent pass by unnoticed more or less in America?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Have you ever had someone ask you what you're giving up for Lent?
I do. Yeah, and I went to Catholic school for 12 years.
Yeah.
And Lent was a big thing for us. Okay, it was a big thing for my parents. Mm-hmm. Right? You had to give something up. You had to suffer and give something up. And then for whatever reason, the Vatican went light on that. I'm sorry, but they did. And they started saying, well, kids could eat meat on Fridays. And I'm like, we have pizza on Fridays anyway. Like, what's giving up meat on one day? Like, so what? I don't know how you guys did it, but we had to give up meat on Fridays in Catholic.
No. This is why, not so much now, but whenever I was younger, you could have went into the chippy and asked for a Fenian steak, and they would have give you the fish that's on the menu.
Right.
A Catholic steak, fish.
Yeah.
Our religion doesn't do the fasting. We never did the fasting or the no meat on a Friday.
Right.
But it was a thing that you needed to give something up, or
we had to give up luxuries or habits.
Yeah, look, luxuries or habits, or one of the things that our Sunday school would have said for Lent. Well,
Did you have almsgiving too? Because we collected money for those in need, the poor.
yeah,
We did that in school too.
yeah, we would do that. We did that. Uh, they would say they would start off by saying for Lent, make sure that you say your prayers every night. This was whenever we were a child.
Right.
And then at the end of Lent, they would say, see that saying your prayers every night that you've just congratulated yourself for doing during Lent. You're supposed to do that all year. That's the bare minimum.
Right. Well, we did the devotional to the Stations of the Cross as well when we were. Well, I went to St. John the Baptist, beautiful church, and we had the stations around the church, and the school was literally connected to the church, so we would just walk in and do the Stations of the Cross. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, our church was not connected to our school. Our church was a couple of miles down the road from the school, but inside our school there was a building that was built by the church, and it was where we did our Sunday school and where we sometimes had Christian assemblies during the school day, and it was also, and during the week it was used as school library. So we, again, similar to you, we had a connection between our school and our church, and I'm going to take this thing down. Right, that's better. Yeah.
Can I chime in?
Pardon?
Can I chime in? So I went to school in the 1970s in Ilford, in Essex. My master of our school was a liberal, and we never did anything about Lent.
So in the 70s, you had stopped Lent. That's wild.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Wow. Pac, are you having the mic issues that I was having? You're muted.
I'm hearing loads of feedback. Is no one else here?
It's not too bad.
I don't hear any feedback. You're saying there's feedback? I don't hear any.
I did get a load, yeah. I'm all right now.
They're very low rumbles.
So I went to, I did go to Sunday school because there was a little church on the estate I grew up on.
Yep.
And that's where I learned about Jesus.
What else did you learn in Sunday school? This is where it's going to get really interesting because we've got three different things here. I take it you learned the Lord's Prayer in Sunday school, Paca?
Yeah.
Right. How did you learn that?
What do you mean, how? I can't remember. I speak to you. Dictate to me over and over again. Programs into my brain.
How I learned that was word by word.
Okay.
Our Father, who art in heaven. Our Father, what does the R mean? Father, in what way is he the Father? Who art in heaven. Art, what does art mean? Does that mean you draw a picture, or does that mean your whereabouts? That's how I was taught it. Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Does that sound similar?
Yeah. Actually, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paca? No, not so much.
The Lord's Prayer. Yeah, we don't say amen.
Yeah. I seem to know what the old English words mean. Yeah. As far as I can remember. Very small.
Like, my Sunday school was more academic than my school during the week.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we had Sunday school every day. My parents sentenced me to Catholic school for 12 years, so we had it every day.
So his during the week church is like our Sunday school. And his Sunday school is like home goal.
Yeah.
Like militia.
Yeah, and
the reason is we're bringing up children to defend the faith, and therefore they need to fully understand the faith if they wish to defend it. So we were taught about not only about the Christian religion, but we were taught about the religion's place within the country and its relationship to the crown and the government, because that's your three institutes of your three institutions that control the British way of life. You've got the crown, the Parliament, and the Church. Well, Church of England, in my case, Church of Ireland. So they were growing up in the Church of Ireland. They were quite adamant to make sure that by age 10, 11, when you're leaving Sunday school, you understand things, and also that you've been taught things you've been taught the right way of things that other people might throw at you so that you can properly counter it. Well, here, Rich.
Yeah.
I take it you learned the Apostles' Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to say it in our sleep.
Yeah.
But I could literally repeat every line of the Catholic Mass.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not Catholic anymore.
Yep.
But
right.
I still remember it all. It's the faith of Jesus. It's the faith of God.
Yep.
But now I'm what's considered a born again Christian.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you the version of the Apostles' Creed that I was taught when I was a child,
Okay.
and you'll be able to pick out the differences.
Sure.
So how I was taught it was, I believe in the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth and all things visible and invisible. I believe in his only Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, who was born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified and buried. He descended into hell. On the third day he arose from hell to sit at the right hand of the Father. I believe in the communion of saints. I believe in the Trinity. I believe in the Trinity, the Church, and the forgiveness of sins. Amen.
Okay. Here's what we learned. Do you want me to go on, or do we? I'm sorry.
Please.
Okay. What I learned was I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. The third day he rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. He shall come again to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Apostolic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life of the Lord forever and ever. That's it. That's what we learned.
You've reminded me of a couple of lines that I got wrong.
No, you didn't get them wrong. I think it's different. I think it's different.
You reminded me of where I got a bit tripped up near the end.
Okay.
Right. There's bits in the Holy Catholic Church. Linda, see, here's the thing. Newsflash. I'm what's called a Protestant Catholic. The word Protestant.
Protestant Catholic.
Right. The word Protestant was formed at the Reformation.
They were protesting.
Right. And you have Protestant Catholics and you have Roman Catholics. You also have Orthodox Catholics. So yes, I am a Catholic, not a Roman one. I'm a Protestant Catholic.
Okay. Got it. I didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah, and that's why we're part of the Anglican Church.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're Anglicans.
Yeah, well, I know for a fact that okay. I don't know if you knew this, but in the United States, when they were the colonies, okay, every colony or state, if you will, every colony had adopted its own religion. Okay, they used tax dollars to buy Bibles and build churches. Why? Because they did it in the motherland where you guys are, right?
Yeah.
And so, for example, the state of Virginia, colony of Virginia, was an Anglican state, and in its charter, later became a constitution, it said that no man in the Commonwealth not being a believer in Jesus Christ as Savior and Lord can hold public office.
Well,
right? And
they got that from the English Bill of Rights.
probably.
Yeah,
But
because
in Pennsylvania, my state was the
Yeah.
most liberal state of the day. And it said, no man not, what was it? No man not affirming in a supreme creator may hold public office in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So what happened was, okay, every state or colony, they had their own adopted religion. And when this nonsense that the liberals like to do over here about separation of church and state, right? The truth of that was that at the time, it turns out that Madison was president at the time, and Thomas Jefferson, he was done. And so what happened was the Danbury Church wrote to Jefferson and said to him, even though Madison was the guy that actually, we call him the father of the Constitution, right? And so Jefferson, they wrote to Jefferson and said, look, you got to help us. Our state is creating laws that are harming us. And what Jefferson said was, he wrote back to them. They never talk about this part. He said, well, look, he said, I'm at the federal level. I'm not at the state level, and I can't really help you. But then he thought about it, and he said, you know what? We just created this new body of government called the Congress. And he feared that the Congress would adopt its own religion and would supersede that over all the states and the states to come. And so what he did is he toured the country with Madison. They toured together. We know because it was written about. They wrote letters back and forth to each other. And they argued that, okay, there has to be a separation of church and state. But what he meant was that there's a separation between the federal government and the states and their adopted religions. Okay. But today, the libnuts in America, they say, no, it means that you can't have a Christmas tree on government property. It meant no such fucking thing because Thomas Jefferson, when he was president, he started a church inside the Capitol building. It seated 2,000 people per week. It became so popular, they ran out of space. So he created another one in the War Department building and a third one in the Treasury building. In fact, when he left, Madison got in and he goes, you know what I'm going to keep doing? I'm going to keep going to church in the Capitol building. So a guy that supposedly said that church and state separation means you can't have religious things on government property created 3 churches on government property. So they bastardized it in the 1950s when you had a Philadelphia lawyer who was from the Unitarian Church. In those days, if it was today, the Unitarians would have had blue hair and had a septum ring. Right?
They're another progressive bunch.
And threw things at ICE agents, right? Well, it turns out that they changed the attitude towards separation of church and state to say, no, this was the atheists that did this, right? And they said, you're not allowed to have religious things. So, I mean, you couldn't practice Lent on government properties. Nonsense, right? And that's what we're dealing with today. Sorry.
The idea of religious toleration was supposed to be very limited. And what religious toleration means is we don't care what religion you are. We're not going to persecute you for it.
Right.
Unless it's Satanism. However, that does not mean that we have to provide anything for you to carry out your religion. That's on you. It does not mean that we have to modify anything we do to accommodate your religion. It just means you're allowed to do it. And it also probably means that you are not suitable to be in a position of power in our country. For example, the English Bill of Rights has a bit in it that says it dispars anyone other than Protestants from holding public office because we have found it is unhelpful to our Protestant nation to be ruled by papists.
Mm-hmm. When did we write this in? When did that happen? Did there some kind of
1688?
Did something happen?
Yeah. Sort of. This is a lot of backlash from the likes of Bloody Mary, who burnt a Protestant steak every Friday while eating chicken and drinking wine. The mass human candles that happened, everything that happened during the Spanish Inquisition that was not done by the Spanish, actually done by the Catholic Church. The multiple attempts by the Catholic Church to overtake England, such as sending Norman the Conqueror, such as sending the Spanish Armada, such as Guy Fawkes, which is all of that. And at this point, they went, actually, do you know what? Those people can't be trusted.
Yep.
You know, it's
the thing I admired about the Catholic Church, that for years people said, oh, well, you know, society's changed. You got to change with society. But for years, the Catholic Church said, nay, we are the Catholic Church. We do not bend the will for you.
Yep.
You bend the will for us. But then what happened was, when it became more liberal, in America anyway, when it became more liberal, Catholics were leaving in droves. They were leaving the church, and the church then had to bend the ways for some things in order to get people into the pews. Because if you don't get people into the pews, they don't pay, you know, the tithings. They don't throw those Catholic envelopes in. They don't throw cash. You know what I mean? So to survive, they had to do that. And then we went a lot of years where they were shutting down a lot of Catholic schools and churches because they just didn't have the money anymore, which was sad.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, do you have Catholic state-maintained schools?
Catholic what?
Catholic state-maintained schools, right? So you went to a Catholic school. Was that a public school?
No, it was a private school. Parochial schools in the United States are private.
Right. So, what we have in Northern Ireland is we have school, which anybody can go to, which was linked to the Church of Ireland very heavily, and was Protestant school. And obviously we didn't have Catholics in the Protestant schools. So what we did was we said the funding that we get, the funding for schools follows the pupil. So if little Johnny goes to school A gets his funding. If he goes to school B gets his funding. So we created Catholic state-maintained churches, so they got the funding through the government to run their school, but the chapel and the teachers and whatnot and the board of governors, probably the nuns, ran that school.
Oh, okay.
What I will say is that it's worked out better for the Catholics in Northern Ireland than it has for the Protestants, because the Protestant schools have become liberalized because they're the state school. And we've had 1957, I think, the schools and the churches broke, but there's a thing to say it must maintain a Christian ethos, although that is being washed away more and more and more. Although what I will say is that our Sunday schools are still based as fuck. And pretty much everything else in our community is very based. Like our boys' brigades are very based. And then a lot of the stuff that we have, it's all loyal orders and marching bands and whatnot, and they're obviously quite based, so it counteracts a bit of where the school has went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but it is sad to see, though. It's sad to see how everything's being diluted.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It is very sad to see that. I got out of it. I'll be honest. I hadn't gone to church in a lot of years, like a lot of lapsed Catholics, right? And then I got into a church that I really like now, and I've been there I think 5 or 6 years, and it's a born again church. And the thing that I noticed the difference was, like, a lot of people used to tell me, they'd say, I love the Catholic Church because no matter where you go in the world, you can follow the Mass. Yeah. And I thought, yes, but to me, don't take offense to this. I thought, to me, that means that anywhere in the world, I could be bored equally when he gives the sermon. because they're boring as fuck in the United States when you give a sermon.
Oh, in America, is the Catholic Mass still in Latin?
One in
no,
the chat.
no, we have.
One in the chat. If you hear when it's a Catholic wedding, everybody goes, "Oh, good."
Yeah, I know. But yeah, because you're like, oh my god, it's going to take forever. But yeah, they get their money's worth. But and I don't hate the Catholic Church. I don't. I make jokes because I went for 12 years, so I can cite every line throughout, right? And so it's born and bred inside me. But I like the church I belong to now because it's not it's certainly not boring. Okay, but number two, I felt. Okay, now you feel however you want. I felt that in the Catholic Church, when I went to Mass or when I wanted to pray to God for forgiveness, I could only do that through the priest.
Yep. Well, that's what they take.
Right. But see, I think that everybody should have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like everybody should be able to do that, not just through your priest to get forgiveness.
Right. Do you know what the biggest thing in the Reformation is?
What's that?
Every Protestant is the same level in the religion as a Catholic priest.
Well, they don't look at it that way, but you're right. But
no,
that's look at it that way.
That's why we did the Reformation. Yeah. And one of the first things we said is all of our Protestants are the same level as a Catholic priest, and therefore allowed to read the Bible and understand it for themselves.
Yes, but we still believe that there are certain sacraments that really a pastor, we call them pastors now in my church, that a pastor should, I mean, we had pastors in Catholic church, so I can still name them all.
Yep.
Right, in my church, in my schools that I went to. But, and I went to Roman Catholic high school, which when I went to Roman Catholic, that's in Philadelphia, it was the #1 Catholic school in the country when I went there. We only had 214 in my graduating class. I mean, the nearest high school that was a public high school had like 2,100. We had 214 in my graduating class, so it was very tight knit. And we had priests for teachers. There were no nuns there, so they were all priests, and they would beat the living shit out of if you got out of line. So you pretty much stayed in line. But we had a good time. We had a good time while we were there. So,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've lost. You know, and a lot of the teachings are, the sacraments that the Catholics do, we only do a couple of them. Baptism, baptism, weddings, and funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Catholics have got another couple in between, like confirmation and whatnot.
Anglo. Watch this. No, Anglo. I was an ugly child, so no, I did not. You know what's really funny about that is my brother Jimmy from Philly. Everybody, my brother. He used to go off entirely about, you know, how they covered it up, how all these Catholic priests, and I was like, okay, it's a bad thing. Father O'Grady. What's up, Special K? And he would say they did all these horrible things, and I say, yes, but you know, in the United States, it was less than 1%. Where with public school teachers, it was probably 3 or 4% that were doing the exact same damn thing, but you didn't get bitchy about that. And he said, it's because they're supposed to be godly people. And I said, but you're a fucking atheist. You don't believe in God. So what the hell do you care? All right. We used to have conversations like this. Pardon my French again. But we used to have conversations like this.
He can't make that argument. He can't make the moral, godly argument because he's an atheist. Yeah. He can't make the argument.
Yeah. Well, because of him, I got into apologetics, by the way. Because I love a damn good argument and I like winning. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't get any of that.
It is still too much.
Fucking liberal. No.
Yeah.
It was awful.
But see, there's another thing.
The rainbow though. My junior school, and then I left Ilford when I was 11. Moved up into deepest, darkest Lincolnshire, and my school was 99.99% white, local, and everybody's parents knew each other.
Yeah. Let me say this too. I read a book called Goodbye Hallowed Men, or Goodbye Good Men. and it had 2 titles. And it was about a guy that wrote a book in the 1980s. There used to be before the internet, there was a thing called the Conservative Book Club, and you had to mail your orders in, and they would mail you the book, right? So what he talked about was in the United States, in the 1980s was the big coming out gay in the United States. We had ACT UP and Queer Nation that were pretty strong in the U.S. And then when the AIDS thing started, they got a lot of good publicity because our Congress said, hey, we can get a shit ton of extra money through taxes to pay to help these guys, and we don't really have to help them, right? But what happened was ACT UP and Queer Nation started this push to go into Catholic seminaries and to liberalize the seminarians to teach what was not Catholic dogma. And it was to teach that the gay lifestyle was just another alternative lifestyle. And why would God make people he hated? Right? This is what they did. Now, I know this for a fact. It was true. The guy wasn't lying in the book, because we had a neighbor where I was growing up. His name was John Feeney. He was the son of the neighbors who owned the house next door. And John was a good guy. And he went to St. Charles Seminary, which was up on the main line in the Philly area. He had quit after 3 years. And he went in to become a police officer in the Philly police office. He did 20 there, right? And 20 and out. And one day when he was visiting his parents, he was about 6 or 7 years older than me. So one day when he was visiting his parents, I was probably 14, 15. And I asked him, I said, why did you leave the seminary? And he paused and he didn't want to say anything. I said, I think I know why, because I had already read the book at that time. And he said they started teaching things that we knew was not Catholic dogma. Certain things that and I said, you mean the gay lifestyle? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. Because they were teaching that. He goes, I could not become a part of that organization if they were doing that. Now, the book goes on to point out that there were studies done of homosexuality, because a lot of gay men went into the seminaries, and they were supposed to infiltrate the seminary so they could go out and teach the flocks that all this garbage that they were teaching them. So he pointed out, he said, in criminal studies for each nation going through the industrialized nations in the world, said that pedophilia, that about, I think he said it was like 17% of pedophilia was through homosexual men. And people go, well, it's only 17%. Yeah, but they were less than 1% of the population.
Yep.
And so that means that they have a high propensity, am I right? Yep. To go after young boys.
Yeah, Rich, have you ever seen this? This is the big list of female teachers with male students.
Yep.
So these are all the female teachers that have had sex with, have been caught having sex with, and I'm just going to scroll down through this. Where's the rest of this fucking thing? Because we're only on AM. This website is now bullshit. But that list went on for like fucking miles. There was hundreds of them. These are just female teachers in America that were caught having sex with kids. One of the, well, I agree, boys aren't men, statutory rape. The other place that we have found that there's a disproportionate amount of female adults having sex with underage boys is in the juvenile custody settings. The female guards
in prisons, basically.
Yep. The female guards in juvie are fucking the younger boys.
Yep.
There was a kid in America whose teacher got pregnant, and whenever that boy got to the age, he was 14 whenever she got pregnant. Whenever he got to 16 and got a paper route, they took child support out of his paper route to pay his female teacher.
Wow. I'll tell you another thing. What they always said was that, well, the reason why they're Catholic priests, it wasn't because they were gay. It was because they weren't having sex. And I sat here and I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute. Ask any pedophile who was married sitting in prison for that if he didn't have sex with his wife. So you can't say it's because he didn't have sex. He had sex with his wife, and he was still buggering the kids, the little kids, right? So that argument goes right out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's just this name's going through my head. I'm going, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, think about it this way: how we got to the point where we've got woke churches.
Yeah.
And
Not
how-
all. I have a friend who may be
Yeah,
here
yeah.
right now in the chat because I sent her the link. She's very, very devout Catholic.
Yeah, but
She
how,
knows
how,
the right words.
how we got to that was they get people that are LGBTQAI,
Yeah.
and they send them into the
You've got that little accent that sometimes goes over Spanish letters. But go ahead.
yeah, right, and they send them into Bible school, and they get them trained up. These people are going, but I'm not Christian. No, I don't care whether you're Christian or not. Go you and get into there. Why? Because we need churches to become the way we want them to be. So therefore, we need people like you having the job as a priest or the minister of the church. And you're like, and they're like, well, how's that going to happen? Says, don't you worry about that. You get the qualification. We'll get the church. And then what they do is they look for churches that have got a small congregation, and they all go and join that en masse. And before long, they have became the congregation. They have became the people that's running that church. And then they decide to employ their newly qualified fucking gay minister.
Yep.
Well, we have all seen
a lot of churches.
that video on TikTok of that bloke who is allegedly gone to China.
What?
Chris showed it earlier.
All right.
Comedian guy.
I thought he said something else at the end. Sorry. He said China, right?
Yeah.
I said China, yeah.
All right. I thought you said something else. I beg your pardon. Go ahead.
Oh, right. Yes. It was a comedy sketch where a guy turns up in China and he's saying, I don't like these restaurants you've got. There's way too many noodles being sold here.
I don't like noodles.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to change the menus, yeah?
Yeah. You're going to, and nobody speaks my language. You're going to have to create an area where it's only people that speak my language. I need that changed. And he ends up, and he's asking all these questions. And the last one, something about where he can get free accommodation and food. And they went, we've got that place. It's called prison.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it is
The
mad.
last line is, because I am here illegally, though. Right.
All right, yeah.
So do I get to choose my own hotel, or have you got a list? What do you mean, prison?
Yeah. Whereas we just fucking bend over backwards and pander to all these people. It's madness.
Yeah. It's crazy what they're doing. And the lib nuts in this country that take over a church like that, they act like they're the moral superiority.
Well,
that drives me insane. Like they'll use things like that guy that was arrested finally that went in with Don Lemonhead into that church in Minnesota.
Okay.
And he's in. Did you hear the things he was shouting at little old ladies with blue hair and aluminum walkers? I mean, did you hear that?
Right.
Screaming at them, how are you an effing Christian? How can't you be out there helping the Somalian illegal immigrants that are getting fraudulent money from your tax dollars? You're not a Christian. It's like, wait a minute. What the hell is wrong with this world anymore?
Well, you got to actually hand it to Don Lemon though, because in the short amount of time he was there, he did actually cover it from every single angle, didn't he? I mean,
yeah, he created a lot of the evidence against himself.
He really did, he really did. And think about it. This is the problem with my country right now. I don't know how it is there, but in my country, we have too many damn lib nut judges. And the first set of judges said, "No, I'm not going to charge him because it was he had a First Amendment right." No, he did not. First of all, a church in the United States is private property. Yep. He has on his own video that the pastor's saying, "I'd like you to leave." Yep. He goes, "What? You don't want me to cover?" He goes, "No, please leave my church," and he didn't leave. So that's trespassing.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and I'll tell you where we're at with this. It started off a while ago. They could shout at Christians outside of a church.
Yeah.
Now we've got to the stage where they're coming and shouting at Christians inside a church. We have also had a thing where plenty of churches are being burnt while they're empty.
Right.
Do you know what your only next step is?
What's that?
When they start burning the churches with the people inside them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, see, here we have a thing called, we have the FACE Act. It's the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances. But the Republicans, it was a libnut thing. And the Republicans would not sign on to it unless they added churches in there. And they had to, or the Republicans wouldn't give them enough to vote for it, to get it passed. And so that's how Don Lemon broke the law. And plus, he said he was acting as a journalist. He started arguing politically with the pastor, telling him the pastor's opinion was wrong. And he started arguing with an elder of the church the same way. But the fact of the matter is, they had no right to go in there in the first place, all because they thought that an ICE agent actually worshipped in that church. But here it was one of the pastors was working in the administration section of an ICE building.
If he wanted to act as a journalist, he needed to go in and document the events without commentary, and then come outside. And if he wanted to add commentary, do it then. But by interacting inside that building, he made himself one of the protesters.
But remember, he went to the school of CNN.
Yeah.
The communist network, the Clinton Communist Network, the Clinton Network News or the Communist Network News. He worked for CNN, and to him, what he did was perfectly normal because they're not journalists over there. What they did is they stopped hiring journalists. CNN used to be a number one. It was the most trusted news network in news, but then they just stopped paying for real journalists, and they hire activists that can keep a straight face and wear a suit or a dress. And that's in other words, they could lie their asses off while pushing libnut ideology. And that's where they went wrong. And he just went overboard, and he started claiming his own network was racist, and he lost so many viewers that they couldn't afford him anymore. They were losing money with him. So they kicked his ass out. Now he's relegated to doing internet stuff. But you know what? Think about this. Who else did? Megyn Kelly. She's a freaking superstar, making millions off of her internet throw. Bill O'Reilly, same thing. Right? There's a lot of them that are doing that. Don Lemon, I understand, can't pay his light bill.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me because they don't have people like Don Lemon, and all of those liberals do not have the level of support they actually think they have. They put a hell of a lot of work into making it look like they've got a lot of support by shipping the right people for the bubble everywhere that they go. And they're laboring under the false assumption that they have a lot of support whenever they don't. And it's only whenever they try to branch out on their own and do something that they find out, oh, fuck, this support's not actually there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. It's all, they live in a bubble of their own echoes. They do. They really think that they deserve awards for the garbage that they put out there.
You see, the other thing is, everything that happens on the left, everything that they do is funded by, most of it's funded by government, and the rest of it's funded by rich donors.
Yeah.
There's no, they don't have to do any actual genuine crowdfunding. And therefore that also gives them a really unrealistic opinion of the value of their time. Because if you're a liberal and you're involved with an NGO or whatever, you can get plenty of gigs where you've got to go and give a talk at a government event, which will pay you £500, $500 for your hour speech. That's just a speaker fee, and you can do that again and again and again and again.
They set it up that way. They set it up that way.
And that's why we have so many days for transgender visibility, day for fucking this, day for that, day for the other. They create government events where they pay these speakers, and that's where the money comes from. And once that money from the government dries up, and they're working off because do you know what? See whenever you have a look at the protesters in Portland, none of them's got 5 cents to donate to fucking anybody. Yeah. They're a bunch of skint homeless wankers.
Yep. I'll tell you what, it started. There's a book. Did you ever read or hear of it?
Stop everything. Linda's right. She's butted in and she's correct. It's lemon. The way you two keep trying to say it is just annoying everyone. Don Lemon.
It's Don Lemon.
Lemon.
No.
Don Lemonhead. Lemon juice.
It is what it is.
He is a fucking lemon.
Yeah, he's a lemon. Yeah. But there was a book by Charles Percy Snow, and it was called The Two Cultures. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, it's a book, in a nutshell, it's a book that he points out that the top people, the top professors in universities used to be the applied sciences, right? Why? Because they're the people that make the freaking world work, right? Hey. Yeah, you had your mathematics. That makes you can't make a light bulb without what? Trigonometry, right? You can't without calculus. You can't do the street lights, like the timing. It's all kinds of shit, right? So you had all the like. Think about this. I would take a single plumber over 10 interns in Washington, D.C. any freaking day, right? But what happened was when World War II came around, our government pulled all of the applied sciences guys out. And because they had to use them, because they had to build munitions, they had to build trucks, submarines, ships, all that shit, right? So the losers, the sheer losers that were not able to help with the war effort, they were left behind. And they were the guys, like today it would be gender studies guys, right? Yeah. But they were the guys, the sociologists and all that crap that you forget the minute you leave school, right? Unless you're going to teach it, right? And so what they did is they said, you know what? They literally got together and said, you know what? These a-holes are going to come back after the war, and we're going to be second tier again because everybody loved them. Let's make sure that we create rules. We put a university president that will help us create rules that make sure that we are the anointed ones and they are the benighted. And so now today, people look down on when you go to a school that has nothing to do with university. So if you want to become a plumber or an electrician, you could go to those types of schools, and you don't have, like vocational schools, you don't have to go to college in the United States to make a pretty good living, but they're frowned upon because of these assholes. Now, he goes on to say that attitude, that the applied sciences was the more moral choice to go in life. You won't make any money, and morality won't buy you a hamburger, right? But they then filtered it down to the lower schools because those people that were teaching here, some of them went down, they couldn't handle the load, so they went down to high schools and they started teaching the same BS in high schools. And this is where it started, because why? The communists always want to go after the children first, don't they? Well, this is what they did with the school system in the United States anyway. And he points out that that's where all this garbage started.
Oh, do you know where it's all going to end up eventually?
What's that?
It's going to be glorious and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Whenever it does come down to the battle,
right,
between the libnuts and the rest of us,
right,
I'm really interested to see how the fucking diversity hires go at making an IED.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of hands lost.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Electric circuits, timing, all of that stuff doesn't really matter. It's just a concept. No, bitch. See, whenever you're starting to work with Samtex, it's fucking real.
Yeah, I would say
you will fuck it up.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes in that kind of work.
Yeah.
That's literally the Big Bang Theory right there. Don't work for those kind of companies.
I've seen libs trying to make petrol pumps with a fucking lid still on. You know, it's,
I've been lucky though. I've been lucky in my industry that I work in. We don't have DEI. Not the programmers. Are you kidding me? There's no DEI because I think the people that are not savvy enough in computer programming, they wouldn't be able to get a job. Period, because we would lose everything. You know, the company would lose money, and so I've been lucky in that sense. You know, I work with a lot of good people, so we didn't get it.
I've been kind of fortunate that I've worked in the same factory for over 30 years. You know, and I'll be there until I retire. How it's going to go after that, I'm really not sure, because I can see a lot of DEI creeping it, not into my factory as such, but the industry in general. But we'll see how it goes.
I call it DIE because that's what happens to your company if you go with DEI.
Exactly. That is exactly it.
Yeah, I mean, think about in the United States. You remember the Dylan Mulvaney thing, right?
Yep.
Oh, it only cost Bud Light $1 billion, I think, right? But
yep.
Do you know why they did that? Because of BlackRock, because of Larry Fink. Larry Fink. If you go to the New York Stock Exchange, you will see every company you look at that's a very solid company. The top two stockholders are either BlackRock or Vanguard and BlackRock. Now, BlackRock is the top position in most of them, but sometimes Vanguard beats them out. Okay, which means that BlackRock didn't want that number one position. So what happens is BlackRock, they realize that, you know what? We have a shit ton of banks under us. Okay, we control them with the shares. We control a lot of banks. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to convince them that we're going to drop all our money from if they don't do what we tell them to do. And what we're going to tell them to do is tell all these other companies out there in all the industries that if you don't do this ESG and DEI, right, that you're not going to be able to do any banking. They're going to debank you, and you're not going to be able to get loans, and you're not going to be able to do mergers, and you're not going to be able to do jack shit because you don't follow our guidelines. Now, who the hell was Larry Fink to do that? And so Bud Light said, you know what? They're targeting us, so we have to do this. So they took the least offensive. Dylan Mulvaney, like they say, is a nice guy, right? But he's a guy, right? And so they put him in there, and people just went nuts because Bud Light was like the Super Bowl. Bud Light was one of the things that the real people, I would say the populist nationalists in the United States, the conservatives, it was the one beer that everybody bought because Budweiser, okay, they did some of the most pro-American commercials ever for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
right.
Did you miss the Amy Schumer Bud Light commercials previous to that?
Yeah,
right.
But they had to go with that though. They had to.
You're right though. Even around the world, Budweiser was as American as McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Oh, did I hear recently that BlackRock are dropping their DIE standards?
Yeah, they're dropping it, and the reason why they got caught. You know how we hear that politicians in our Congress, they start off making $175,000 a year, and they wind up with $30 million in 5 years. Okay. In the beginning, when they did that shit, what they did is they said, okay, we're going to create a committee. And we don't need it, but we're going to do it anyway. And it's going to be that before our SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, before, like when you want to go public, okay, with the SEC anyway, with our guys, you gotta present data to them every month leading up. It could be a year before you go IPO, right? And you got to give them data because they got to make sure, these guys are a real company. They're not going to rob. They're not going to cheat. All that shit, right? And so the Democrats. It was the Democrats. It was between 1954 and 1994. Okay, it was all those years they controlled the Congress. Believe it or not, this is why anything that happened between those years that fucked our country up, you can blame them. Okay, Republicans didn't have a single word to say because they weren't allowed to. Believe it or not, The Democrats created a rule that if you want to make an amendment, propose an amendment to any bill we put up, it's got to be passed by this committee, which, by the way, is majority rule Democrats, and they're never going to vote you in. That is a fact. They did this. They did it for 40 years. And sidebar, when Newt Gingrich took over in 1994, and people said, don't do it, Newt, but he did. He took that rule away. And they're like, no, you got to fix it. And he goes, look, if we want to reform, we're going to reform. We're going to allow amendments by the opposition party because that is exactly what a representative republic is about. Okay? And then as soon as they got it back, Nancy Pelosi put the fucking rule right back in. Put it right back in. This is why for years you would always go, you're an American, you go, why the fuck don't the Republicans ever complain?
Why is that not going to the Supreme Court?
You would think that both parties, no, you can't. You would think that both parties agreed, but they didn't. So you know what Newt used to do? This is the God's honest truth. He would call a special session at night for C-SPAN, right? Are you familiar with C-SPAN?
Yep.
Okay. So he would call a special session and he would tell the cameraman, because he was the majority or the minority leader and he had power, and he'd say, only focus on me. Don't go on the audience. You know why? There was no audience. It was after hours. And people didn't know that. So he would stand there and talk to America and go, so the Democrats want to do X, Y, and Z. We think that's really stupid. And say, we think we want to do PDQ. Now, he would say, do any of you Democrats in the audience right now, do you disagree that what I'm saying is far better than yours? Anyone? And he'd look around. And there was no one that would disagree. He goes, all right, I guess you all agree with me then. So why don't you change your mind so that you can get it out? Because we're not allowed to say it, right? He did that because what eventually would happen was he would end the special session. He would go into the hallway to walk down to his office, and he'd make sure that there were news people around with cameras, right? And all of a sudden, Tip O'Neill, the Speaker of the House back then, Democrat, would come walking down screaming, who the hell do you think you are pulling a stunt like that? And Newt would say, yeah, but the problem is, yada, yada. And he'd go on and politic about it and say how Republicans' ideas were better. And guess what? That message made the 11 o'clock news. That's the only reason he did it, because it was the only freaking way that he get the word out. And enough people started paying attention to that we started paying attention to the Republicans and learned that they were not allowed to speak. They were given a muzzle. They weren't allowed to speak.
That is preposterous.
It's the absolute truth. I forget what my original rant was about, but that's the absolute truth.
It's the same with creating a political party. It's the same with if you're elected and putting amendments in. If the majority don't like your message, if they don't like your amendment, they'll vote it down. Right. But at least they'll let it go into the ether and see what's made of it. That's draconian.
Yep. And they did it for 40 years. They did that.
Fuck.
40 years they were not allowed to. And one time Marco Rubio, when he was a senator, he was on it was Jon Stewart's show. And Jon Stewart said to him, he goes, why do you guys filibuster so goddamn much? And he said, because it's the only tool that's left for the minority party in the Senate. He goes, because the Democrats have rules. We're not allowed to propose an amendment. And Jon Stewart was like, get the hell out of here. Like you guys. He was like, get the hell. And he goes, no, it's been up there for years. He goes, we have to filibuster because otherwise it's just a rubber stamp, whatever the communists want. That's true. And that's how people found out about it. I knew about it because I used to really dig Newt Gingrich because he used to teach a class called Reinventing America, Renewing American Civilization. And I actually signed up for the class and I took the class. Yeah. Crazy shit, man. The Democrats are freaking evil to the core in my country. They are evil.
Yeah.
I've got a question for Rich, changing the subject.
Sure.
We've clearly thrown Andrew under the bus.
You did what?
Threw Andrew under the bus.
Well, I don't think we did that. I think
we did. We've done that. Yeah. That's
but it wasn't because of the it wasn't because of the Epstein sex with kids thing, though. It was because he committed treason. He gave all kinds of government documents to Jeffrey Epstein about English documents, government documents that were classified about China, about Iran, and about a couple other countries. Because Jeff Epstein wanted to build certain businesses like financial links so that he could capture Chinese politicians with little girls, and stuff like that. That's what was happening. If you read Whitney Webb, her father was Gary Webb. He was the greatest investigative journalist ever heard of in the United States. She wrote a book called One Nation Under Blackmail, and it's a 2-parter, and each book is like this thick, but I read it on Kindle, right? I read the first book, and after, she's a young woman too, and she got her father's research skills. And after each chapter, I consider myself a semi-intelligent guy, right? After each chapter, I had to sit back and scratch my head and go, wow, because each chapter she threw so many names at you and so many things that they were involved in, and she backs it all up. She has the receipts. She brings the receipts, right?
I got a question. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Which one of those 3 people is a child?
Which one? The one
was a child.
You mean the one?
No, what was a child?
I don't know what you're saying.
Right. Apparently, there's a child in this picture.
Okay.
The one in the middle.
Yeah.
Is that a child?
Yeah, she was at that photo. She was.
You should fuck. That's not a child.
Depends where she is.
She was above the legal age for consent in England, and that's where she did it.
Was that picture taken in England?
Yeah.
She was an American citizen.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I can't see a child there.
Right, but wasn't there other women that?
What are you saying? Are you premising Jeffrey Epstein's innocent?
No, he's arguing.
I'm saying that there's no fucking child in that picture.
That wasn't. We don't know. Hold on, for you. We don't know that picture was the reason why he was arrested.
Oh no, that's not why he was arrested.
Right.
But he would not have been arrested had that picture not been propagated for fucking years, and everybody's saying, Look at this pedophile and his victim, and I'm going, I can't see a child there.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
I think remember at the time it was premised that picture was taken somewhere else. Having said that, I have just noticed there are Georgian sash windows in the back of that picture, so it is pretty fucking. You can't get much more English than that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I see in that. I see a rich man, a parasite, and a prostitute.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she was a prostitute. She was.
Yep. She was.
She was pretty much forced to do
choice.
Yeah, well, no, actually, here's the thing.
I'm sorry. What was the legal age in England at that time?
16.
Okay, because she was 17. Yeah.
Yep. See, here's the thing. Gillian Maxwell recruited her. She came down to the place, gave a massage, got paid 200 quid, and then decided to come back next week of a room relation for another 200 quid for another massage. And then she went and got her friend to come with her to get paid again for doing a massage. I'm sorry, that's a fucking prostitute. Yeah, it is.
I think of
but yes, I get all that, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable with it if I live in a society where that's okay.
I consider a prostitute.
She's only 17.
I consider a prostitute someone that has sex with someone for money, not someone that gives a massage. Someone that gives a massage for money is a masseuse.
Yeah,
that's just how I see it. But they did have her have sex with like rich people.
Yeah,
they did. Oh, they did.
Yeah, but, and she got paid very well for it, and she traveled the world for it, and she went in and out of many airports. You're telling me she never once seen a police officer and could have walked over and went, "Help, I'm being trafficked." Fuck off. She was fully on board with this and loving the lifestyle until the point where she was too old to get paid for it, and then she went for her payday.
I had heard she ran away, and she had people that caught her trying to get away. And they brought her back. That's what I had read. And I didn't read the full story. She didn't put a book out or anything, did she? Because I never got into it.
Yes,
I was never big into the Epstein file shit because I thought, okay, the guy was a fucking scumbag. Let's deal with him. And people said, well, wait a minute. We got all these top level people. I'm an apologist. We got all these top level people here that were involved in these scams. Yeah, that part of it I was interested in because I wanted to know like what he knew, what he kept on them. because according to Whitney Webb's book, all right, he was working for the Mossad and the CIA, and he was working for the intelligence apparatus in Romania. Why, I don't know.
Yep.
But in Romania,
Well, he would work for anybody paid him.
it was a honeypot operation, and his expertise was getting them to diddle little kids on video. That was so that they could own them, so that these intelligence communities could own them. Because you can't tell me a fucking math teacher within 3 years it becomes a billionaire.
Yeah.
By being a hedge fund manager, I don't think so.
Oh no! I have no belief whatsoever that he made any of his money legitimately.
Oh,
I
no,
think
he didn't. No.
the whole thing stinks to high heaven, and I think he's a scumbag. But I also think that the targeting of people to go after for connections to him has been very, very, very targeted. And like, do you know what? Why is Bill Clinton not been arrested yet?
Yes. Well, this is my initial question, right? That's what I'm saying, that Prince Andrew is the sacrificial lamb, right?
Yeah.
We're going to throw him under the bus.
Well, can I ask you guys a question?
And then we're all going to forget about the Epstein files, right?
I have a question to you guys, okay? Because I don't know the answer to this, honestly. And it involves your king, and it involves Starmer. Is that his name, Starmer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So King Charles just came out against Starmer on something, right? And Starmer said, you don't have the right to do that. He basically was trying to say that you just have a formality role.
That's
right?
true.
But King Charles people said, no, that there is actually something in the rules that say that the king or queen, whoever's in, that they have a moral obligation to see that your parliament, that your government is run under the constitution that you have.
Yes, but I'm not sure if he was.
That's what he says. That the reason why he stepped in, his people.
Well, here, the interesting where it sits, I actually know. It would take it to be a matter of how the parliament was run. So if Starmer if it's anything to do with policy, the king cannot interfere. He has got nothing to do with it other than a rubber stamp.
Right.
The other thing is, every word that you hear from the king and the previous queen and all before them has been written for them by parliament. They're a spokesperson, nothing more. Now, where the king's soft power comes out is through the Church of England, because he's also the head of the Church of England and the defender of the faith. And if he has an issue with the morals of the parliament, he is supposed to express that through the church.
Okay.
So therefore, he should have had his Archbishop of Canterbury, either at Archbishop of Canterbury, Archbishop of York, at his side, or Senate for him.
Okay.
So, and the last king that we had that decided to go against Parliament, we chopped his head off.
Oh, wow.
The king has no actual power. While Elizabeth was the queen, I always said that you have to understand that you're not getting the queen's opinion, you're getting the opinion of the government. King Charles is flaky as fuck. I would have been quite happy if William had him down the stairs and we went straight from Elizabeth to William, but that did not transpire.
Okay.
And if I was William, Charles would have fell down the stairs. I think he's weak as fuck.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. That's why I had to ask. Because I don't know that part. I never knew that part.
The king has a bit of an ability, and he definitely has soft powers, but that should come out via the Church of England if it's about the morals. If it's about a procedural thing about the parliament where it is cutting ties, that's fine. But do you know what? The time for the king, the monarch, to step in was whenever we created the fucking Supreme Court, which we never should have had us. With all of Tony Blair's changes to the Constitution, yeah, the royals should have stepped in there and said this does not gel with our. But however, the king or queen's problem is that this is being done by the people who have been elected by the people with the consent of the people, and also all of the policies they bring out comes with a consultation document for the British public to answer on.
Good.
And the
I didn't
British
know
people, the British people failed to say no, and the British people elected them. And the king or queen, they're sitting there going, "Well, fuck, I don't really like this idea, but it's what your politicians that you elected have decided, so it
Right.
must be coming from you." And the other problem is, which ties in again to our churches being very woke and weak, the moral guidance for the king or queen should come from the Church of England, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the Archbishop of York. However, both of those archbishops no longer have any connection to their congregation and are doing their own fucking woke bullshit and giving the king or queen bad information. And how the king or queen traditionally would have found out the opinions of the public is, if you go back far enough, there would have been a minor there would have been royals below the monarch level that would have been in the Grand Orange Lodge of England that attend a meeting every month with their lodge and gets the information from the public. The Grand Orange Lodge of England is now so small that it's no longer important enough for the royals to be involved. So that form of information's gone. They would have also got their information from the officers of the army who have to regularly come to Buckhouse, or like if they're getting their colours dedicated or whatnot, and they would have an hour-long meeting with the monarch. And it would be the junior officers that are doing this, and they're supposed to explain the life of their recruits and their regiment to the king or queen, so they understand how it's going. However, for many years, we have had woke officers in the army, so they're not getting it from them, and they would have got it from the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Archbishop of York. They're now their own woke thing, so the king or queen's not getting any genuine information. And I swear to God, I honestly think that whenever the king spends all Saturday day ruling the country, going to meetings, doing whatever he has to do, I honestly don't think he thinks, fuck it, sorry, I better get on the 42 stream and find out what the people actually think.
Yeah.
So they're devoid of good information.
I was just trying to post to Dawn, and it says, this comment has failed to post to 42. It did it twice.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that. It's YouTube being dicks.
Wow, did they do that? No shit.
Yeah.
But then I went to YouTube. That was off StreamYards. I went to YouTube and it went through.
Yeah, it's strange. YouTube has been really funny with comments lately. I've had there's a couple of times tonight I was putting in stuff and it was nothing innocuous at all. It was nothing fucking bad at all. It was, one of them was like S for Sanson, and it refused to go.
Really?
It's fucking mad.
See, people write
YouTube chat is now like your bipolar girlfriend.
It's funny because in my chat, people say all the damn things. You know, I had to block a couple. There's two words. I will not say what they are, but there's two words that honestly, if you say them, I'm not sure if someone else in a video you're playing, but if you say these two words, they remove everything. Google has a button. Well, YouTube has a button. YouTube, actually Alphabet, that they hit this one button. They plug your channel name in, and they know every product you have of Google, and it will delete every single thing you have in an instant. That's what it'll do. And if you get 3 strikes, it does the same thing. But if you utter these two words, and I think we all know what those words are, but if you utter these two words, they remove you immediately as soon as they find out you said those words. So This is why my brother used to go nuts when he brought that Nelson idiot into his. He would bring them in to the show, and he would give them links to videos that were supposed to be funny. I never found them humorous at all, but they would use these two words, and I'm like, dude, you now have to go in and edit that out before YouTube's algorithm catches it. You dumbass! Like, why do you keep letting this schmuck in there? And he's like, I don't know. I think he's funny. I feel sorry for him. So I'm like, yeah, you're going to lose your channel again? He's lost 4 channels. I think he's on his 4th channel. He lost 3 already.
He's on more than that.
I thought this was his 4th one.
Here, Rich. Do you know that at one point YouTube sent an email saying that they didn't even want them watching YouTube, let alone posting?
Yeah, probably.
He's a YouTube cockroach. They can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, fuck. Right.
Yeah, I got hit once because I played in one of my videos. I played a part, and it was in Australia, and it was a restaurant. And in the restaurant, the husband of this elderly woman was outside the restaurant. The door was open because it was probably hot. And so he was filming everything that was going on. And there was a trans guy. It was a trans guy who was the hostess. And the woman came up and she accidentally said, "Thank you, sir." And he went off on her. And she's standing there trying to get, the cash out or whatever to pay the cashier. And he's going off on her. She turns to him. She goes something like, "I'm really sorry for you." He goes, "What?" And she's like, "Well, you don't even make an effort." I was in there. I'm like dying. And he goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Put a little rouge on, a little lipstick. I mean, try to make an effort. Grow your hair." Like, and she only did this because she was totally frustrated that he wouldn't shut the hell up. Because she was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't know." "Well, you should know." And she's like, "Don't really know how I'm supposed to know," because he looked normal, right?
Yeah.
So the part that I got a strike for was because he then turns, because she said something to her husband. "I'll be right there." He turns and sees him filming, and he comes charging at the camera, and you see the camera go down, and they start fisticuffing, right? On the ground. So I stopped it as the hand was like that.
Yeah.
Right. And I said to the audience, I said, "Guys, I can't show this next scene because there's violence, and I would get in trouble for that." They dinged me anyway. They dinged me because I said something negative about trans.
Wow.
And so they dinged me for that. I got a strike for that. Yeah, those are the days when they were nuts.
But
they're not as bad anymore. Now watch, I'll get a strike for saying that.
I liked it much better whenever blowing a trolley meant you had to take your car to the garage.
I know. Commander says that all the time. The guy from China,
right?
He calls it China.
Well, it is 1:15. I've gone a bit over my normal time, but I've enjoyed doing that because it's been a great conversation with both Rich and Paca.
So you guys are always great.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, Rich, any last thoughts?
Not really. Am I really doing the April thing?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. I was looking for your email, by the way, about the 3 of us getting together and talking about privacy.
All right. Yes.
Countries. I still want to do that if you do.
Yep. Here, Robin's going to be on at the end of March.
Right. Cool. I'll be here.
She's the end of the month in March. You're the end of the month in April. I will ask her live on air during the March one. if I haven't got any movement before that, look. The other thing is,
we can do
my communication hasn't been brilliant of late because I've been fucking trying to do 301 things. So hopefully that's improving, and we'll definitely get that because I do think that would be good. That'd be a good stream with the 3 of us.
Yeah, good.
I'm looking forward to having you on in April. Get the end of the month one done. Have another good chat. And if there's anything in between time that that's fixing your mind, and you really want to get out. Honestly, fire me a line. We'll get you on in a midweek, a mid-month stream, and we'll have another chat.
Awesome.
You're very welcome here anytime, mate. I enjoy our conversations.
Oh, you guys are too.
Yep.
Over in my studio, you know it.
Yep.
Anytime, just ask. You're on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Packer,
Hello.
any final thoughts?
No, other than it turns out I love sitting on a live stream and keeping an eye on the chat.
That's cool.
Yep. Right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling me in.
Yep.
Had fun.
And
It
with
took
that-
my mind off of pressing matters of yesterday. So
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we could help a little bit in that.
Me too.
I'm also very understanding of how little the help is. But,
No, believe it or not. No, I had a good time.
you know, but anything that takes you away from that for a little bit is good. It's sad. Now, let me think. What am I going to have for our outro? I think, well, we'll do Eat the Bugs.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll do Eat the Bugs. I'll send that up, and I will put your comments up on the screen.
This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance.
You will have nothing, and you will be happy. And you will eat the bugs.
Oh shit, man. Eat the bugs? You got me wrong. You got me so wrong. You ever seen a cave drawing of somebody with a spear hunting a mosquito? Well, me either. We eat meat and we have choices. You cook the hedgehog right? It tastes like chicken. Fucking chicken. I ain't eating your bugs. I ain't eating your bugs. I started off with nothing and I'm never going back. I'm not getting on your progressive track. With Agenda 2030, I refuse to engage. I can see where it is going and it's just another cage. I've got hedgehog, I've got rabbit, I've got wild hog. Fuck it, I could even move to Alaska and get me a nice caribou. Fuck it, I'm not eating your bugs. You're trying to take away what I fought so hard to get, so I'm going to say no to your cattle country. Eat the bugs? Live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy? Oh, nothing and be happy. I've seen the people with nothing and they don't look happy. Eat the bugs? Live in some communal pod with no fucking privacy? Oh, nothing and be happy. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. I'm not eating your bugs. Fuck it. Fuck it. Oh shit, man, you got me wrong. You got me so fucking wrong. There are millions of us in the UK, billions worldwide, unvaccinated, striding out into our third winter of death with not a care in the world. Eating pig, eating cow, eating chicken, and we will not conform. Fuck it, I'm not eating your bugs. Hey, Klaus Schwab, this is 42, and I want the word with you. Motherfucker.
This is the fourth industrial revolution. We have another opportunity for the great reset. Technology is a critical weapon. History is truly
That's not world heritage, that's British heritage. You're getting to the point where the people just want to be left alone going to get involved. Tell me again, why is the United Nations running some gangs? Fuck it. Stonehenge, New Games, a fucking Paradise Mountain Range, now all owned by UNESCO, so you and I can never go. Fuck your 15-minute cities and your Internet of Things. We are going back to nature, see what that life brings. We had a good look at the damning new day, so we hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. Fuck it. We'll hook up with the Woodlander and take our shit off grid. This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. Fuck it.
Okay, Anglo asked for a extra outro, and we're going to indulge that with harmony, melody, and rhyme coming right up. As soon as I find it. Yep, there it is. And the comments might not be going up just as quick because I'm running to the toilet while this is playing. Oh.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. From that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing for all harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before, forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing melody, rhyme. one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. You cannot kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. The gods of water, earth, and land brought us through a line. The earth, the moon, the sun, each became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence, or is it just sublime, that we now bring excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? Control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream, and we shall walk this journey together.
They just centered me again.
All right, everybody. Rich has been Rich. Paka has been Paka. I have been 42, and you lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. Thank you. Good night. God bless. See you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.